Did what was the highlight of your new year?
Gosh, I gotta say, playing Tarkov last night as the new year hit was exciting. I don't really celebrate New Year's at all, and especially this year with it being, you know, everybody locked down and stuff. So
Yeah. Wait, so I gotta roll that
sorry.
back. So you never celebrate New Year's? Like ever?
No, not really. I'd say like I used to when I was younger, but now like I never do. Like my wife, my kids, like we barely stay up. If I stay up, like if everybody else is going to bed and I stay up, I just play games or whatever. Like we don't really celebrate it, you know?
When did because that's like I would say very like unique. Like I've never heard someone not celebrating. Not that it's like you have to have a blowout or anything like that.
No. Yeah.
Was there like
Yeah,
an
no.
evolution of hey, this year we're just not doing it?
I think it just like slowly came to be sort of thing. Like I said, like when I was like younger, like or like in my 20s and stuff, like we'd go out, like we'd go out to like a bar or like whatever. And then slowly as we got older, we just stopped doing that and then stopped caring and then further stopped caring. And now we're at the point where it's just completely irrelevant. It's just like any other day. It's pretty, yeah, I guess maybe it is a bit weird. I guess most people celebrate it, but we just never really think about it.
Can I gotta rewind the time here just for half a second because like, you know, we've interacted, you know, a decent amount, but like when you
Yeah.
said you'd go to the bar in your 20s,
Yeah.
like what does that look like for you? Are you like going out and like partying? Are you going out and like going like playing board games at a bar? Or what does that look like?
No, like partying, like proper going to a bar and like getting home at 6 in the morning and still being drunk when I wake up after finally go, you know, like that, like partying. Like I went out, like I did a lot of that sort of like earlier on, right? Like kind of like throughout high school and then into my 20s. And then kind of burnt out in my mid 20s because it was just like too much, I guess. I don't know.
So you and you grew up in Canada and then moved to the UK, is that correct?
Yeah, I moved to the UK in 2003. So so I'm 40. So I was 23 when I left. I grew up in Ontario, like Ottawa.
Okay. So you grew
Yeah.
up there. Did you went to university and stuff in Canada or did you not go to university?
Yeah, I went to college in Ottawa. I went to Algonquin.
Algonquin. What is the mascot for the Algonquins?
I have no idea. Again, I didn't really pay much attention. I was too busy going out all the time and barely passing college. So, but it was good because it was in the same city I grew up in. So I could like stay at home, live with my parents, and go to school, sort of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Real quick, so we're gonna do some casual sniping, right?
Sure.
And I am in the right reserve lobby.
Okay.
What is your character name?
My character name is Sips _.
I mean, look, anytime like I play with someone new, like and don't take this the wrong way, I got a lot of questions and
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So-
look, I can. What's your what are you in this? What's your? I'll add you to friends.
just Dan Giesling.
Dan Giesling.
Let's go.
Dan Giesling, are you Dan Giesling level 15? Dan Giesling?
That is me.
Man. Okay. I'm only like level 4 or 5, but to be fair, I only started playing like 2 nights ago.
But to also
It's
be
been-
fair, you also have finished your hideout. I've never done that before.
Yeah, you know what? I did finish it. I say I finished it. I didn't have a fully upgraded Bitcoin farm though. I didn't have all of the graphics cards for it, but everything else I had made.
That's as someone who's I've been playing Tarkov for 3 years. I've never done that. That's really impressive. Like you
I
understand
played it
that.
a lot a couple of years ago, or maybe it was like a year ago. It was like maybe 2 resets ago, I think. I played it quite a bit. I remember you playing it around the same time. Like I think I knew of you because of the Twitch Sings stuff. Remember the wasn't me?
Yeah, so that was like my first interaction, like, you know, of understanding who you were. I saw, you know, I used to do this show where I would look at, you know, Team Unity clips, and then there was this clip of Ryan singing the Shaggy song, you know, and Ryan's funny, and then you come on, and like I thought it was maybe just like a random thing, and like literally if I like sometimes you have like not the best day, if I need to laugh, that's one of the videos I'll pull up because it's hilarious.
I love that. Thanks very much. I'm glad that I'm glad that something I did is that thing for you. That's great.
Oh, it's so good. And then like, because like, if that's your first interaction, like, so that was my first Sips interaction. Like, okay, I'm like, okay, this guy's probably gonna be maybe try hard and be really good at singing the song, and then you just take it like in your own avant-garde way and destroy it. It's and if Chad, if you've never seen the clip, you gotta see it. It's so good.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, Twitch Sings is done now, eh? They closed it down. I think yesterday was the last day of it, and it's gone.
Really?
Yeah, they said they'd bring it back at some point, but I feel like maybe they knew about all this DMCA stuff coming up and whatever, and maybe they didn't have all the rights that they needed or something, but yeah, they've closed it down, so I don't think you can even use it anymore.
Real quick, can you get I am in reserve 1440? And
Okay,
I am looking for a group.
Right, okay, hang on a second. A reserve. I have a shotgun, so our sniping dream may not happen for this one.
Well, you know what? I'm a believer in a chip in a chair, which means that we can go to a sniping spot. You can have a shotgun. You can just grip it and rip it, and maybe you could get like a 300-meter snipe with a shotgun. You never know what could happen.
You know, that's the beauty of Tarkov, isn't it? Okay, I'm in the list.
Okay, so can you click looking for a group?
I can invite you to.
That works. That's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. You've got like a cool skull face mask, and you've actually got attachments on your guns and stuff. I don't have access to the flea market, and also I have like 40,000 rubles left. So it's gonna be a little bit touch and go. I might be doing some runs with handguns and stuff, but I mean, I can kill scavs. Okay, it's just other PMCs, especially if they're really sweaty and they have better gear than me and they out-chad me. I say out-chad me, everybody out-chads me, but
you know, I'm a firm believer. I don't know why, but in the early, after a wipe, I just feel like the game's a little bit easier. So hopefully we can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you, so, because I don't know, like my first interaction with you was that Shaggy clip. So where does Sips underscore come from?
Sips underscore comes from people just taking the name Sips all the time for some reason. I think maybe it came more so after I started doing YouTube stuff. Like I just can't reserve that name anymore. So Sips underscore is like the second pick. You know what I mean?
But what about Sips? Like, what does Sips mean?
Sips is just an anagram of piss, and it comes from it comes from the album. I like, because I grew up like in the 90s or whatever, and I used to listen to like lots of like Nirvana, grunge when it was coming about, sort of thing. And so I was listening to a lot of Nirvana, and I got In Utero, you know, like their final album, and inside the sleeve they had a song on there called Tourette's. And in the album sleeve where it shows the lyrics to all the songs, because it was just kind of like a screaming song and there wasn't any real lyrics, the lyrics were are you okay with me swearing on your stream? Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So the lyrics were fuck, shit, and piss, but all jumbled up, right? So, and piss was Sips. I always just thought it was kind of funny. And then I adopted that as like early on, like before kind of like the wider internet opened and gaming was happening on the internet and stuff. I used to use that as like an IRC handle and ICQ and MSN Messenger and all that shit. So like I've used it for a long time.
Like all three of those words put together was your ICQ name?
No, just Sips. It was just Sips. I just thought that was the funniest of the three, so it just stuck and I used it.
Wait, so you mean to tell me there's a Nirvana song where they combine those three words together, and is it just like an amalgamation of screaming, but you can understand those three words?
No, you can't, but those were just the lyrics that they put into the sleeve. So like it doesn't sound like anything, but like I think they were just, you know, it's just like an edgy thing or whatever, you know? So it's like it was like fuck, but it was like FCKU, and then shit was like jumbled up, and then piss was jumbled up to Sips. So that was it.
Got it. Hey,
That's the origin.
I sent you a squad stream too. But so okay, but you say anagram. Isn't anagram something that is like you can look at it both ways and it spells the same thing? Or is that something else?
No, that is what's the word for that again? It's like palindrome. That's a palindrome.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
So
what's
race
it?
car is a palindrome, and an anagram is like is a word, but the letters rearranged can spell like a different word, sort of thing.
Oh, okay, I got it. So that was your name pre-internet, and then just you wrote it through all the way.
Wrote it through all the way. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just one of those things, you know. I mean, I never really used like my real name or anything like that. Not for any like particular reason. I mean, the internet was a different place, sort of like in the 90s, I guess, or whatever, when like things were just like sort of starting to get big or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, just was always a thing. Like I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike, you know, like back when Counter-Strike before Source, like
Was a mod?
1.6, 1.5. Yeah, and you could join like private servers and play it and stuff. So you always needed like a nickname, if you like, for games like that and stuff. So I just always used it. Diablo, like Diablo 2, I used to use the same. Um, I used to like all those games sort of like I don't like I don't know. It was weird, right? The internet and gaming on the internet was just different back then, right?
What
So
was
you
your
didn't have
what was your first experience with online gaming? Was it Counter-Strike or was it something earlier?
online like direct connect. I used to play Doom co-op with my friend like
On
modem to
Dwango?
modem.
On Dwango?
No, not even. I had his number and I would dial it like because you used to be able to type in a phone number to connect to. And so I would just type it in and connect to it. And then we'd also always get interrupted by like his mom picking up the phone or something like that. You'd hear it like coming through the computer, like, hello, what's going on?
Dude, I say Dwango, but this is so back in the day. So growing up as a kid, like I was very fortunate. Like my dad was really into computers in the 80s when it was, like not something you publicly talked about. It,
Yeah, yeah.
and so we had a LAN set up in our home. I don't know how he did it, but we had two computers. We LANed Doom, and then it might have been Quake, but I think we did Hexen or something. We LANed Doom, and then he would have a friend dial in from work on the modem, so we were able to play like one.
Somebody out here. Got it?
Oh, I just got chatted. Get him though. So we go 1v1v1 like in the early 90s, which was insane. Man, I should have had that guy. I got head eyes.
Are you dead?
Yeah, he got me.
Oh shit. He was
Did you get him?
he had nothing on him, just the Glock.
Yeah,
He's level 16.
he head eyes me. So here, I mean, take your time and get my stuff, and like, unless I can't believe he one tapped me, but that happens. So that was your first experience was Doom.
Yeah. Doom and I used to play Warcraft 2 as well. The same way. It's like, oh my God.
Did he have
You
good
know
stuff?
what? No, he had nothing. He had a handgun, but he hit me really hard. Like I think I'm gonna die.
Sorry, I mean
Hang on a second.
that's Tarkov.
I'm dead. My stomach. He just completely fucking shit.
We could do a scav. You have a scav ready to go or no?
Yeah, yeah, I've got
Okay,
one, yeah.
cool.
I haven't played yet today, so.
So so how did you find Tarkov? Because I feel like Tarkov even a couple years ago wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like it is now. You know?
No, yeah, it's changed a lot. Well, it's changed. Some of the maps have changed since I last played, and some of the mechanics too. I used to really like ratting. Like the guy that we just killed. I go into a raid with like a tactical vest and like a handgun, and just run around and pick up as much stuff as I could, and then I'd escape through sewer on reserve. I just love doing it. Like I just like the economic stuff, right? Like I like acquiring things and putting them into my prison pouch and escaping. Like I don't know, it's just fun. And then I just sort of graduated from that to getting more geared up and like and fighting and stuff. The first time I got into it, I think my friend was playing it. My friend, I don't know if you ever heard of Pyrian Flax before. He's like into like Dota and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have, but I mean, we're in the same network and we've hung out for years, sort of thing. I think he was playing it at one point, and I'd known about the game, and I watched him play, and the like I said, you know, like the economic sort of stuff, you know, him acquiring stuff and then escaping, kind of interested me. So I thought, it's a pretty sweaty game, but I'll try it. and then I tried it and I got hooked. It's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah, it's one of those deals, and that's the thing. Like, and it doesn't come from a place of disrespect. I don't know a ton about like your gaming history. The only thing that
No.
chat tells me is like Yogscast, which like
Yeah.
I think everyone knows, but I don't really know what it is. But is that why you moved to the UK?
No,
Hold
I
on.
moved.
Real quick, what map are you in? Sorry.
I'm just preparing to escape. I'm good with whatever for scav. If you want to do like factory or reserve or whatever.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go reserve right side, and I'll just wait for you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I came to the UK because my wife was born here, and I actually met her using ICQ like in '97 or something. Like we met on the internet back then when it wasn't like it was not the thing to do back then. So there was the whole thing like, how do you really know this person? And it was kind of like Jerry Springer material back then, right? Like it just never happened. But we met up and we sort of like were interested in each other, and then did a lot of traveling back and forth. And then I lived over here for a year, like on a visa, just like as a holiday maker or whatever. And she did the same. She came to Canada, lived for a year, and then that led into me going to college, finishing college, and then we were engaged like halfway through college, long distance, and then decided to settle here. So I moved in 2003. We've been married since, like 17 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
You glossed over one of the areas, which is like, how did you meet? Did you like go into a chat room and drop an A/S/L or what? Like,
no, well, not even. It was me and my friend used to go into IRC channels and just troll. Like we just well, we were kids, right? We just go in and pretend. We just do bits like, like we change our nicknames to like Batman and Robin or something, and go into a room and role play as Batman and Robin. So we go into this room and we were just like farting around, making fun of people. And then this person just started like joining in and like joking around with us, and it was pretty funny. And then we went back the next day, and this person's still there, like and it was pretty funny. So like we started talking.
Were they like playing the Joker, the Penguin to your Batman and Robin?
Yeah, just like random stuff. It was just like kind of funny, like on the same wavelength sort of thing. Like you could tell like she wasn't getting offended. She just thought it was funny, and she was just like joining in or whatever. And then just started talking privately, and from there, like it just sort of, it's such a weird thing, isn't it? But
I mean, that's a super unique story. I mean, it's not like now where, you have people swiping left and right. It's like you're dealing with ones and zeros text. You have no idea who's on the other line. And then it goes from like memes to DMs to, hey, let's meet in a time where like that is super unique.
Yeah, it is. It is like, it was like 97. Like I was still in high school when we were like chatting and stuff. But then even off the back of that, so we would chat like online, but then it sort of progressed to like we'd exchange letters and stuff too. But then
like physical letters?
We would phone each other, which was kind of weird at first, but we knew each other well enough just through chatting that when we started phoning each other, it wasn't like too awkward or whatever. And then like off the back of that, her and her at the time, like she traveled with her mom and her best friend. So they were like, okay, well, we're going to come visit Canada because we want to anyway. But like, I would like to meet you too. So we'll just do like a 2-in-1 sort of thing. And she's like, if like we meet up and we don't like each other or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I'll still like have a vacation or whatever. Like, yeah, understandable.
But for you, when she said that, were you like, oh, it matters? Or like, oh, did you play it cool?
Because I was like, we were kids, right? So like, I mean, I was like 18. So I was like, whatever. Like, if it works, it works. If not.
But
like,
how many years were you invested into IRC life at this point? Was it like 6 months
like
or 2 years?
Like a year and a half maybe or so.
Okay,
like,
so you're in. You're enough. Like,
yeah. So like, yeah, I know it's a weird one, isn't it? Like most people just
sounds like a great story
conventionally at work or school or whatever, but like, I don't know. What about you? Like,
wait. I got more questions. So did you like, because you got to think back then, webcams were super rare. So did you scan a photo and send it to her? Like when was the first?
Yeah, it was a scanned picture. Yeah, because digital cameras didn't even really start getting big until like sort of early 2000s ish, right?
So when you sent the picture, did you send your picture first or did she send her picture first?
I think she sent me a picture first, and then I was like, oh, I'll send you a picture. And then I just happened to have like a picture that was taken at school or something. I think it was just like somebody took a picture of a bunch of us at school or something. So I had to like send the picture, but I had to like circle myself because it was like a big group of people. Because there wasn't like, you just didn't have the pictures like you do now available, right? You didn't just have
Right.
on demand a million pictures of yourself sort of thing. So it's like you had to kind of like hunt around.
Well, when she sent you the picture, what was your reaction? Were you like,
Yeah, well, I was like, oh, okay, great. Like, she kind of looks like I'd expected, but it's not like
was it like
it's not
love at first
nowadays,
scan
right?
or
Like
no?
nowadays, it's an instant thing. Like, here's a picture of me, and you just text back and say, "Oh, sorry, my dog's on fire. I can never speak to you again," or whatever. It was like, there was like a lead up, and then so I had like an idea what I thought she looked like, and it was like, I guess it was like more or less what I expected, sort of thing. I don't know.
Did the picture light your fires did you have
Well, I mean, yeah, like enough to like not sort of cut it off, I guess, like it's like, oh, sorry, yeah, I got your picture. Yeah, this isn't working for me. It's like,
well, I mean, like, there's part of it because I'd imagine if after talking for a while, like you're connected to someone like
yeah,
emotionally or like you're on the same like wavelength, but then,
yeah,
there's got to be some compatibility on the other side. So she
yeah,
passed the SIPS test on both
yeah,
angles.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So then when you met, because you seem like pretty chill, were you any nerves? Like, what was the first meeting? Did you guys meet for a cup of Joe or what did you do?
No, like, so her and her friend were with her mom, so they stayed at this hotel like downtown Ottawa or whatever, and like we knew that like she phoned me. She's like, oh yeah, we've landed or whatever. Like, do you want to like just come by later or something, and we can meet up? And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I'll just bring like my friend as well. Like, so I brought like my best friend with
What?
me as
Why?
backup
For
because you
like
have to
buffer?
sort of. Well, yeah, kind of. Just because like when you're like 18 or whatever, it's like, yeah, it's still a bit awkward, isn't it? Like just sort of like meeting somebody for the first time or whatever.
From IRC
So
for overseas, they flew in with their
yeah,
mom. No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
for
So
that's
like,
everyday stuff.
strength in numbers. Like there was some extra people there as like wingmen and backup and stuff, so it was fine. But then yeah, no, it was good. We took them to like, so they visited for like a week or like 2 weeks or so. And so we took them up to like Montreal. We went to like La Ronde, like the theme park in Montreal, and a bunch of it. We went to Niagara Falls. We took a bus from Ottawa to Toronto. It's like a 6-hour bus ride to Niagara Falls. So like we helped them do like all the touristy stuff. And it was like summer, so like we were just like on summer vacation anyway. So it was just like I don't know, like just a fun summer break, but then it just turned into more than that. I mean, now we've got
But
like 2 kids and stuff, so
but like
kind of weird.
the first meeting, was it in a hotel lobby and then you guys just played like shuffleboard or something? What did you guys do
No,
with
yeah,
like
no, because it was summer, so we met in a hotel lobby and then we just walked around downtown, sort of thing, like we just like went to go get like a coffee or something, and
did you
we
two
like
break off or was it like a group thing? Everyone got
no, it
coffee.
was just like a group thing,
Okay.
like and like that's fairly common like in that age group as well, right? Like I don't know if like socially like we'd always hang around with like a big group of people if we could, sort of thing, like in during school, high school
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was like fairly common, so it wasn't like too uncomfortable. It wasn't like awkward or anything because we had other people there and stuff too. But I don't know if it would have been awkward anyway. But I wasn't like old enough or mature enough to like just sort of like turn up on my own and like confidently have like a conversation and stuff like that. Like we were still kind of kids, so.
So, okay, so then but when you met her, I mean, so you're 18, like did you know then? Because that's pretty young to
Yeah, I don't know if I knew then, but it's like you just you have like a like I'm like fairly easyggoing, so like if something works or like I'm having fun or whatever, like I don't think about it too much, you know what I mean? I just like just kind of go with it and see where things go, and we just always got along really well. We always had like a really good time and stuff, so it wasn't really like you know we
yeah,
didn't really like you didn't have to think too much about it, sort of thing. It just things just happened, it was good.
that's like I mean, that's one heck of a story. It's just from IRC to married 17 years with 2 kids. Like
Yeah, I know.
that's a journey, man. Do you
Yeah,
ever think
I
about
know.
like what if you logged into the
Cool.
chat room like 30 minutes later or you did like a bit that she didn't think was funny? Do you ever think about
Yeah.
that?
Well, I mean, sometimes, but like, yeah, I don't know what my life would be like now without her. Like, well, it would be vastly different, obviously, but Like you probably like I take it you're married and have been married for a while, or
Yeah, I've
are
been
you?
married for 9 years, and I have two
Okay.
kids as well.
So you probably have like the same sort of it's like every like all the stuff that I've done or that I do, I feel like looking back, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it without my wife because she's like really supportive, you know, like there's like you know, like your partner helps you with a ton of stuff, right? So like I feel like yeah, I wouldn't have kids, but maybe I wouldn't even do what I'm doing now either. You know what I mean? Like, what if I was with somebody who was just like not at all supportive of like streaming or being on YouTube or whatever? This is me, by the way, by the
Okay,
truck.
cool, cool. Yeah, I mean, like, because when you got started, even when I got started, and I'm sure you can echo the sentiment. I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do. My wife wasn't like, oh, that's weird. She's like, oh, if you believe you can do it, let's do it. You know, it wasn't
Yeah,
because it's kind of a, especially back then, for me, it was 8 years ago. It's kind of a tough ask to be like, hey,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
what I want to do. You know, and
Right. So were you doing all of this stuff before Big Brother, or did Big Brother come first?
no, so kind of like oh no,
Oops.
did you get? I got booted.
Uh, oh, did you?
Yeah, I had bad ping, but it's okay.
Oh.
I think next time, I don't think we should scav reserve. That's my fault because the queue's super long. But
Do you want to jump back in? I think you can probably jump back in.
yeah,
I
let me
can
see.
guard you.
Yeah, let me see if I can get.
Just like moonwalking in place. You guys got his like aviators on and stuff.
Yeah,
Shoot
so
him and loot him, chat. That's brutal. I'm not doing that.
I do have a decent gun. Let me see if I can get back in. That's the first time, maybe because of the distance. Okay, I can get back in. But anyways, yeah. So like, like I said, I grew up with a computer, so I was always really into computers and gaming and stuff. But
Sure.
I kind of like was able to like I always call it like dual wielding. Like I could integrate in between like kids that I knew that played computer games and like, kind of not talk about it and get beat up. Yeah, I mean, because you're talking the 80s. If I'm like, I
Yeah,
just
of
got a new
course. Yeah.
modem, guys. Like, I'm sitting
Yeah.
by myself at lunch. But anyway, so I was always into that kind of
Yeah.
into that kind of stuff. But I had no idea about any of this stuff. So I went on Big Brother the first time. And then the second time I got off, like I was in Seattle, and I really wanted to
Welcome,
get
brand new
inside Wizards
subscriber.
of the Coast because I wanted to, see what how they design Magic. And so I sent a tweet out, and this guy named DJ Wheat responded. He's like, "Hey, I can get you into Wizards of the Coast." I'm like, "That'd be amazing."
Oh, nice.
And so from there, like DJ Wheat, who's works at Twitch now, he set me up with XSplit. This is in 2012. Set me with XSplit. He's like, "Hey, I really think you should stream and just see if you like it," because he knew I was into gaming. And then so kind of from there, so in 2012 I started. But without that, I wouldn't have known that people played. There were like YouTube people or Twitch. I just wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
So that's when I started, and then just kind of figured it out from there. But for me, one of the biggest, I don't want to say battles, but one of the challenges for me, and it's different now, but when I started, it was like everyone just wanted to talk about Big Brother the whole time. And I'm like, look, like I really enjoyed Big Brother. It was an amazing experience, but I don't want to talk about it for the next 20 years of my life. But I do want to talk about gaming for the next 20 years of my life. That's what I loved. So that was kind of like a battle, but it also was I'm grateful for that experience because it definitely gave me like a starting boost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because like I didn't start, when I streamed, I didn't start streaming to 1. I think I streamed to like 20 or 25, which helps,
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, my sort of journey into all that is the same. Like Yogscast was already established. I just happened to be a friend of them, like, because we used to play World of Warcraft together. So like I was big into PC games, sort of growing up, all the way up till now. Really, I still play tons of PC games. But I used to be part of, well, I still am part of this online community called Something Awful. It's just like an old website that had a forum. And there was a whole bunch of members, and it was very sort of like, like humor driven, lots of inside jokes and stuff like that. But these guys would organize guilds and stuff if there was like a new game out. So we used to play like PlanetSide. We used to play World of Warcraft, all these games. And then
Were you a content creator at this point, or were you just kind of playing
no.
along?
Just playing games. Like
Okay.
I was just working at a bank. Like I had a real job and stuff.
Wait, what
You know,
was your
like
real job? What did you
I
do?
just used to be a programmer for like at a bank. I took programming in college,
Hmm.
and then yeah, my first job was a web developer. Left that and then was working as a programmer at a bank. So
What
I was just
language are you proficient in or decent
um
at?
well, for the bank, it was like old stuff. It was old programs that were written in like the 70s and the 80s. So it was like RPG, it was like mainframe language and stuff, which was kind of fun. It was pretty good. And then we did like a little bit of Java because the Java was like typically the front end stuff. And
Hmm.
then when I left the bank, I worked somewhere a bit more modern, and I used to do lots of like C sharp, Visual Studio sort of stuff,
Let me
like
can I ask
web
you
stuff too.
some okay, I'm just spawned back in.
You're back. You're back. I see you. I'm right behind this tree here.
Can I ask you some deep lore on banking programming?
Sure.
Could you, at your level or at some access, like could you change numbers in a bank account, or does it not work like that?
Like Lex Luthor style?
Yeah.
Not really. They audit everything constantly, so like it's really hard to get away with stuff like that.
But
I
theoretically,
mean,
could that have happened back then or no?
back when I worked there, probably not. Much earlier on, though, I'd imagine so, yeah. And I'm
Okay.
sure there have been cases of that, but
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to derail the story. So
no,
you
no.
are you're banking, and then you're playing games through this forum website, and then what
Yeah.
happens?
And Lewis and Simon, who like were the two original sort of like creators of the Yogscast, were already big. They were playing. They used to play WoW, but they played some Minecraft and stuff too. Oh, there's somebody out here. Oh, I think it's just a scav.
Nice shot.
Yeah, he's dead. Um, they were already pretty big. They already had like a big following and stuff, and they were just like to a bunch of us who played with them at the time. They were like, "Hey, you guys should you know, stream or do YouTube stuff or whatever, and we'll make a network." So we were just like, "Okay."
Like for context, what year was this?
It was like 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011.
Okay.
And so we were just like, "Yeah, okay, sure, sounds good." And we did. And then I remember the first time I posted a video overnight, I got like 50,000 subscribers or something like that. So I just inherited like this crazy fame that they already had. So
But what did they
uh,
do to amplify you, or like
at the time, not much. They just like retweet that I posted a video or whatever, and we were in some content of theirs, like sort of around Christmas. We did like some charity streams and stuff.
mhm.
And yeah, the rest is that's it. Just like from there, just went through the motions of becoming a content creator, trying to like figure things out,
What
you
does that
know?
mean, go through the
Oh,
motions?
well, you know, you sort of start out like we had a good idea of what we needed to do at the start, and then because they were popular off the back of Minecraft, so a lot of us were just like, okay, play Minecraft,
Hmm.
just pump out videos every day about Minecraft and see what happens, and it worked. And then we sort of got to the point where we're like, oh, we're sick of Minecraft. Let's try some other stuff, which didn't work as well. So like, you know, you go through all the same sort of pitfalls as like every content creator goes through, I guess. I mean,
Do you remember some of the stuff that you tried that didn't work well, that you hoped worked well?
yeah, like everything that wasn't Minecraft, basically. It was, no, I mean, some stuff was okay. Like it just depended really. But I mean, this is back. I guess you probably, if you were starting on YouTube in 2012, it was sort of like the, you know, Happy Wheels was very popular,
Hmm.
Minecraft was very popular, and you know, you just had to. You sort of had to play up to those trends, right?
Hmm.
And YouTube still kind of works like that anyway, I guess. But
Like, were you
yeah, I
doing
don't know.
comedy videos, or just logging on a server with your friends and building? Like, what was your
Not
content
no,
like?
yeah, no, it's mostly solo stuff. Like I did like collab stuff for Minecraft early on, and then sort of just because I had kids, or I had a kid at the time, and it was just like easier for me to just sort of do stuff on my own. I just sort of transitioned into a lot of solo stuff.
Hmm.
So it was mostly just playthrough stuff. I guess like some of it was kind of funny sometimes, I guess. Like it never really like went out of my way to be overly funny, I guess. But
Like no dramatic reactions and stuff like that.
yeah, maybe sometimes, yeah. But you know, it's just it depends on the context, I guess. But like, not like I wasn't like screaming all the time or anything like that. You know, I just wanted to play games, and I was sold like at first it was like, hey, do you just want to play games full time? And I was like, well, yeah, I would love to play games full time. It's like, okay, we'll just make videos. Okay, and that's it. I just did it. So yeah, that was I don't know. I did like I played a lot of Skyrim at one point and did like a lot of editing like around it and stuff, which was pretty good. Oh, I'm top floor, by the way.
Okay, I'm coming up.
I'm gonna drop down into the graphics card room and see if there's anything there.
So were you doing? So your production was a video a day, roughly, or not?
Yeah, okay. At first that was this sort of like, you know, everybody thought for the algorithm to work and stuff, it was like you have to do a video per day, to keep up with like everything and stuff.
You still feel that way today, or no?
I don't really publish much to YouTube now. I mostly stream, and some stuff makes it from stream to YouTube as like it's like short clips sort of thing, you know.
So you don't do it. You do roughly no original YouTube content now.
No, yeah, like I don't like record for YouTube or anything anymore. Like if there is anything on YouTube, it's just like something funny that happens on stream or whatever, you know. Like
when did you make the decision to do that? Because I feel like, especially maybe for someone like you who had or has a huge YouTube following, like that's a pretty big decision. I just threw a smoke grenade for no reason, just so you know.
I heard you.
Okay.
I'm down in the kitchen, like the bottom floor. The building that we were just in.
Okay.
Graphics card building.
I don't know reserve super well.
Oh, okay. There's an underground bit here now too. They've changed the map around a little bit. I think I was recording in the morning at one point and streaming in the afternoon. And I remember some days just being really frantic, you know, like it was like, okay, I got to get my recording done because I want to stream this in the afternoon and stuff. And then at one point I was just getting like a bit burnt out with doing both. And I just sort of like said to myself, well, it's one or the other really, like which one's doing better? And at the time streaming was much better. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm going to try streaming in the morning and the afternoon and then just not doing YouTube stuff and see how it goes. Because YouTube stuff was starting to drop off a little bit anyway. Like I had a lot of subscribers, like a lot of followers and stuff, but like I wasn't getting the views that I used to get and stuff like that. And
why do you think that is?
I think I think if you're around long enough and you're not just doing the same thing that everybody subscribed to you for in the first place, like if you change up a lot, it just happens, right? You fragment your viewer base and stuff. At least that's how I think it works.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it doesn't. And I think that's just what happened, you know? I think we were doing sort of like Minecraft content, which was appealing to like younger kids who over the course of years just grew up and stopped watching or whatever, you know what I mean? Like some sad Christmas tale. Everybody stopped believing in Santa. Yeah, I think it just happened, you know? Just like, I don't know. I probably could have just kept doing YouTube. Like, I'm not saying that like views are bad, but like the money was still pretty good and stuff. But I think I just got kind of sick of doing it, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. Hey, where are you at?
I'm in the building. You know the building that has like the it's got like a shipping container outside that you can walk through, and there's like a fire. It's like close to the building we were just in.
Can you see the helicopter? Can you see the helicopter from where you are, or no?
Yeah, it's like off to the I guess right of the where the helicopter is.
Okay.
If you're in the same building that we were in before. Are you running down the road?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, okay, I see you.
So are you this way or this?
I'm up in the window here, let's see.
Oh, okay.
I'm up here. Where can we go? I have a key on me, but I'm not sure what key it is. I have a purple safe key.
Purple?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know what key it is.
We should probably get out of here.
Yeah, where can we go? We can go CP fence. CP fence is back this way, right? Scavs lands.
So
is
that
CP fence the one by the tower? side of the map?
This is, I give myself a D plus C minus map knowledge on reserve. I could get us to sewer manhole, but we'd have to ditch our backpacks. That's the only one I could guarantee. But I think you were right. CP fence
CP
this
fence
way.
is over here. Yeah. CP fence is towards dome. Oh, is the CP fence? Oh, I know which one that is. CP fence is the one behind that little hut, right?
Yeah, in the corner. Is that the one?
In the corner. Yeah.
We got time. We should be able to.
Yeah. Oh, 2 minutes. Holy crap. I didn't realize we were here for so long.
Hold on, did you hear other grass or was that me? Okay, we're okay.
Yeah, it's like, what about you? Do you stream mostly now, or do you still do YouTube stuff? And like, what kind of YouTube stuff did you were you doing? Well, gaming mostly?
Yeah, all gaming. But that's a funny thing when we talk about like feeling frantic. Like I just probably like 6 months ago, I made the decision. I was literally described how I felt. Like I would be recording a video before I was supposed to go live on Twitch. If I did really well on like a Spelunky run, it would make the Twitch show late, and I'm like, why am I doing this? You know, like why am I pushing all this when Twitch is going really well? And like I don't know, what I do now is I hired a couple editors that will take segments of the show and edit them down for YouTube. Right. And I just don't really, if I have something like I want to do on YouTube, I'll do it, but I don't feel that franticness anymore, because I know what I know what you're talking about. It's like you're running around, and sometimes you don't feel like you're giving like 50% here and 50% here, where it's you know, just go one direction.
Like when I started doing YouTube stuff, I kind of got to a point like early on where I could almost the money that I was making on YouTube matched like the money I was making working, because I was still working full time. Like
when did you stop doing the bank stuff?
Well, I mean, it took some convincing. I had to like convince my wife that like I wasn't insane, because she was just like, you can't make money on the internet like that. I was like, well, no, you can. And she's like, so it took a little while to like sort of talk her around to it. And then after a while I was like, okay, listen, I'll save up like a good portion of money to cover me for a couple of months, so that like if it doesn't work, then I'll just go back to work, you know, like I can just, my skills will still be relevant or whatever, like there won't be a huge gap in my resume. I'll just apply for other jobs and go back before, you know, we end up on the street or whatever, because like we had a baby and stuff, so it was like kind of like, you know, we weren't too sure. And then and it similar to the YouTube Twitch stuff, it just got to the point where it's like, okay, hang on, like I'm dedicating currently like 1 day a week to recording. So I would batch record everything in 1 day, and that would last me for like a couple of videos throughout the week, sort of thing.
Wow.
And I said, if I had all of that time, all this time in a week to record videos, I could just probably make more money than I'm making right now, which made sense at the time. And then she was like, yeah, I suppose so. And then the rest is history. It was just like, okay, go for it. And then I had like this 6-month limit, and then by the time 6 months rolled around and we were fine still, it was like, yeah, this is great. Like you have this flexible job, you can help out more around the house and stuff like that. Like I didn't have to, you know, get ready and rush off to a job every morning and stuff like that. So it was actually just a lot better.
So you left your job like pretty close to when you had a kid, like right after when you had a kid?
Actually started my YouTube channel the night that my son was born. So like my like say 9-year anniversary of doing YouTube stuff is also my son's 9th birthday. Because
wait, how did that like
we were at the hospital, and they kicked me out because they're like, okay, you got to go, like visiting time's over or whatever. And my wife's like, just go home and get some sleep and come back tomorrow. So I was like, okay. I went home, and instead of sleeping, I was playing OpenTTD on a stream with Lewis at the time, who was doing like this charity stream. And then that night he was like, man, just make a YouTube channel and start putting content on it, like it'll be great. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I created a YouTube channel, and then I went to bed. And that's it. What? And then the next day I just started recording.
Wait,
and streaming again.
So your son was born and they kicked you out of the hospital?
Yeah, like after a certain point, like because I was there all day pretty much. And they're like, okay, well, look, your wife needs to get some rest. The baby needs to sleep and stuff. There's nothing for you to do here. Just go home, sort of thing. So I was like, yeah,
Okay.
okay. And then yeah, and then I went home and made a YouTube channel. It's just such a weird thing. It's such a random ass thing to do.
And then there's that footage of you like doing some video online the night your son was born.
Somewhere, yeah. Like I mean, you wouldn't like see my face or anything because back then it was, recorded for YouTube. So like I didn't do like vloggy stuff or whatever. It was just like gameplay or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been.
So
weird, eh?
no, so you started it then, and then so your son was born, and then how much longer until you quit your job?
Oh, months. It was like, so my son was born, and then I was still working full time and then doing YouTube stuff when I could. So trying to keep up a little bit. And then it's sort of like I got to a point where it was hard to record at home because we were just in a small apartment and we had a baby. So like a lot of my recordings would just have like a crying baby in the background and stuff. So I tried to like square away time where I could do it, and it was just getting harder. But I'd made a bit of money at this point, so I rented an office. I live in a really small place, so everything's really close. So it's a 5-minute walk away from home. I could go to this office. It was a serviced office, so it had everything. It had internet, everything. Oh, you just paid like a flat fee every month, and you just got connectivity, lighting, whatever. It was just a small little room, but it was quiet, right? So I took my computer over there, got set up and everything, and then my work week went from Monday to Friday to Monday, Tuesday, and then I'd have Wednesday off, and then Thursday, Friday. So it was a 4-day week. So on Wednesday, I would like help out a little bit at home, and then I'd go to my little office and I would record there all day, and then come home like in the evening or whatever, and then go back to work Thursday, Friday. And the recordings I did in that day were enough to like see me through for a week, sort of thing. So I did that for a couple of months. And then I would do some editing sometimes as well if I had like more recordings somehow.
At home or in your
then
office?
Both.
Okay.
Like if it was quiet at home, I could record at home, and if not, I'd just go to this office. And then after a while, it was just like, okay, I just need to do this full time now. Like I can support us doing this full time or whatever. I don't need another job getting in the way, sort of thing. And it was like, it was like a 9-to-5 office job. So it was like kind of stressful. There was always these dumb deadlines and stuff for stuff that didn't really matter. And I just wanted to do that instead. And then so that we just slowly transitioned into doing that full time as well.
Let's go. You want to go? I feel pretty comfortable in customs. You feel good in customs? Okay, let's go customs left side.
In fact, I need to do quests in customs.
Let's do it. So, I mean, but, I don't want to keep hammering you here, but, I mean, that had to feel pretty amazing to go from, hey, like, I'm working this job that I don't really like, to,
yeah,
it's over. Like, I'm not doing it anymore.
It was great. And it was weird because when I quit my job, I was working at this, like, law firm. Like, I live in a tax haven, so there's lots of, like, people driving Ferraris around who have lots of money and stuff.
Wait, what do you mean you live in a tax haven? What does that mean to the average?
It's like an offshore jurisdiction, right? So like Luxembourg, like BVI, like Cayman, like places like that are places where rich people can store money that like the taxman has no access to. So let's
just paint a picture. Say you have a friend in the United States of America who's streaming, and they're like, hey, Sips is like, hey, I can hold some of your money as a tax haven. How does that mechanically work out?
It's complicated to set up, but you basically get to a point where by money that you're earning somewhere, instead of going to the US and appearing on like documentation that the US would have access to, it's happening in one of these offshore jurisdictions where it's totally legal to do that, but then you don't have to pay any tax on it, right? So there's no corporation tax here, for example. So like I'm a streamer, and all of the money that I take in from streaming, I take in through a company, right? Because it's like it's earnings, like it's company earnings for all intents and purposes. But because I don't because my company doesn't own any property or make profits off of like property transactions, and I'm not a financial service, I don't pay any tax on any incoming profit for my company.
What?
Yeah.
Is that why you
It's nuts,
moved
isn't
there?
it? No, it's not why I moved here. It just so
Sure,
happens.
yeah.
I just
It
lucked
just
out
so
big time.
happens.
Okay, but I still pay income tax. All right. So if I pay myself for my company, I still pay 20%. So say I pay myself 40 grand a year, I still have to pay 20% income tax.
Well,
for the
how do you
year,
not?
right?
If you don't have to pay tax if you don't give the money to yourself, and you can just buy
Yeah.
yourself a
So
Ferrari.
no, because again, you can't just say I can't reasonably justify that I need a Ferrari for this job.
But you
You know,
could buy
like
like a Tesla super truck.
well, I could buy one. I'd have to pay tax on it
Well, what
because
do you need to move your
cool.
computers around from building to building? You need a big truck to do that, right?
Yeah, I could almost justify it that way. Yeah, but like, but certain things are tax deductible. Like so, like, um, I mean, I didn't take advantage of this, but I could have. Like, because I work in my garage, which is just like an old car garage, but I had it done up, right? So it's like it's pretty much like being inside my house now, right? It's got like heating, air conditioning, it's insulated. You know,
Are there
it's
pictures of this
decorated and
anywhere, or
everything.
no? Did you keep it private?
I'm sure there's footage of it. I think I did a tour one time, but it's
Is
like
this before or after you installed the 99 karat gold walls?
this is probably before. This
Okay.
is that's a more recent thing. I've had a pretty good year, so I got the gold walls. But no, so like, but I that could have been tax deductible. I could have paid for the entire renovation and not paid tax on it, but I just didn't bother because it's like, you know
You
what I mean?
used it on the Ferrari instead.
Yeah, I wanted to squirrel it away for not just one. I've got like 10 Ferraris, you know. I got a garage, so.
So you live in a
Um,
tax haven. So what is
yeah.
that? So you just see like absurd cars all around you all the time?
It's lots of rich people. It's a small place that has like immigration, like strict housing laws for immigration, right? So like it's a place that's open for people from like mainland England, like the UK. They can come over here and work or do whatever, but you have to have lived here for 10 years to be qualified for certain housing, which is like most of the housing is qualified like that. And then non-qualified housing is like a total ripoff and is like substandard as well. Like it's crazy. Like there's the regulations for landlords are getting better, but historically they've been terrible. So like it's not uncommon for people to come over here and not be able to afford anywhere to live unless they're living with like 10 people in a room and stuff like that. It's that kind of place. It's I don't know. It's bizarre.
And
Like,
your grandfather in because that's your wife's hometown, more or less?
my wife was born here, so
Uh,
she's naturally qualified as a resident, and because we're married, I inherit that. So,
but basically
but
they
that
do.
wasn't the goal of getting married. It was just we wanted to settle here anyway. But
Was
it
that
just
ever
has
discussed via IRC that she lives in a tax haven?
no. Like this
We
is
can
all
check
stuff
the
that I found
records.
out after.
We
Like
can
she
check the
told me,
records.
like it's a weird place for sure. Like I'd never even heard of it before I moved over. Like I wasn't super familiar with England generally, you know, other than sort of like pop culture references to it in, you know, like North American
What's
media
the
or
name of the
whatever.
place you live in?
Jersey. So like it's
Sure.
yeah, so New Jersey was founded by a guy from here from this is like old Jersey,
So
if you
you're the
will.
original Jersey, and then the
Yeah,
U.S. Jersey is
is
fake
yeah.
Jersey?
Well, like founded by a guy who was from here. And they named it New Jersey because the guy that was from here housed a king at the time who was unpopular during like the English Civil War. He fled to Jersey to live here because they would have killed him. And because the people here and this one guy in particular sort of you know helped him out or whatever during the colonial period when you know England and France and everyone were colonizing North America. New Jersey was founded like in honor of this guy that helped him out or whatever.
Do you remember who was the name of the king? Do you know?
I think it was like King Charles the
Oh, just
third,
numbers.
fourth something. Yeah, fuck, I
Oh,
don't know. Like
okay.
King, like I've lived over here a long time. My royal knowledge is not great. Charles the first, Charles the 23rd,
Cool.
Charles the second, maybe. Which Charles was it, chat, during during the English Civil War? This would have been a long ass time ago, like the 1500s or something.
Hey, I'm in the customs lobby.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
No
Sorry.
worries. No worries.
I need to grab a gun. Sorry, I normally I can talk and play at the same time, but
Well,
if I'm
well,
if I'm
I've never
answering
talked.
questions, it's like
No, I've
impossible.
never talked to someone who lived in a tax haven. And then it's my mind. I'm just trying to wrap around. So you live in the UK, but this segmented area of the UK is
Yeah,
protected from taxes, and
yeah,
so the law and I'm I'm trying to visualize all this. I like stuff in first grade vernacular, which you did a good job explaining. Is that so? There's laws in place where you live to prevent someone from moving there just to exploit the tax advantage, but just
yeah,
by happenstance you get grandfathered in accidentally. That's never been talked about to keep all your Twitch money, and you
yeah.
don't pay tax on any of your Twitch money, which is pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, until you claim it to like buy groceries and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you do have to pay some tax on it, but it's far less than you would have to normally. Like in the UK, like if I lived in England right now, I'd have to pay 20% income tax, but I'd also have to pay 20% corporation tax. So it's like a double hit, right?
So you're just
So I
taking a single
avoid
hit
one
now.
hit. Yeah, yeah.
But you could,
Um,
if you had an aggressive accountant, you could take no hits.
yes, if you had a very clever accountant
And
who
you're
was
and you're
aggressive, you
ethically
could
okay with
maybe
that.
you could maybe take no hits. I personally don't. I personally take the legal hits,
Yeah.
because I don't want to spend any time in jail. Actually, terrified of jail. So yeah. So it's yeah, it kind of works. I gotta get some. I need to get. Oh, where are these packas? Oh, it's an island as well. Sorry, chat are reminding. I should tell you. It's
You
an
live on
island.
an
So
island?
yeah. So you've got England. You've got like
Sips
England,
is
Wales,
balling. I didn't know that.
Scotland, Ireland, which are all like big islands. But then in between that, you've got like what's called the English Channel. So like the Normandy invasions in World War II, that was like across the English Channel, like and in the
You
English
have your own
Channel,
flag. I'm
yeah,
Googling this right now.
yeah. It's got its own flag. It's a crown protectorate. So the Queen, the royal family owns it. It's for all intents and purposes
Wait,
part of the UK, but
when you wake up in
because
the
it's a
morning,
tax haven.
do you bend the knee?
No, I
Oh.
don't.
Well,
Personally, my knees are horrible. If I bend, I'll never get
There
back
you have a
up again.
castle? Elizabeth
Yeah,
Castle?
two castles. The Elizabeth Castle is really cool because it's the tidal range here is like one of the most severe in the world. So when the tide goes out, it goes out for miles. So if the tide goes out completely, you can walk to Elizabeth Castle, but when the tide is completely in, you cannot walk to Elizabeth Castle. So
It's surrounded by water. On the map, it's
yeah,
just like there's a castle floating. That's like something out
yeah.
of Dark Souls.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's huge too, man. It takes all day to visit. It's absolutely enormous.
That's so
Um,
cool. But there's something on it called Less Butts. What is Less Butts?
Les Butts. I have no idea. I'd love to find out though.
Dude, I am like, we were talking about
I
yesterday.
love butts.
I didn't know that a place like this existed. So you have your own castle. You're owned by the Queen. You have Jersey Zoo.
Yeah, it's like a conservation. But they renamed it to a zoo, but it's like a conservation. I think it was it a fish called Wanda or something like that? Some movie that John Cleese was in was filmed here at the Jersey Zoo. I think it was like a fish called Wanda or something like that.
You
But
ever
yeah, Elizabeth Castle is cool, and this place, Jersey itself, was occupied by the Nazis in World War II as well. So there's all these old like Nazi bunkers and headquarters that they built and stuff like that. And they held on to Jersey like well beyond sort of like victory in Europe as well. So there's like a whole history of occupation and everything too. It's really interesting
this
if you're
is-
interested in that.
Yeah,
sort of
I mean,
thing.
this is just. Do you ever feel like trapped on this island?
At first, coming from Canada, it was like a little bit claustrophobic, but I got used to it after
I'm
a
just
while.
trying to. It looks like it's like I would guess what 6 square miles, maybe 20 square miles total. Like
45 total. Yeah, it's 9
that's
by
not
5.
big at all.
No, it's not. It's really, really small. Like you could probably walk it like at a push. It would take a little while, but beautiful, man. There's so many beaches and stuff. It's like the surprise for a small place. There's a ton of stuff to do, especially in the summer. Like, oh, it's great. You just spend all day at the beach. There's like some nice sand dunes. There's like places to walk, lots of places to eat and stuff. Great. It's really good.
So, and I don't want to take in this direction, but I would imagine, is COVID, or were you guys pretty locked down? Like,
we're locked down now. There's at the start of COVID, not too bad. We had the same lockdown as the UK, but the cases for us was very low. But recently, like during like what they're calling like the second wave or whatever, we had like 1,000 active cases for a small place. It's like
that's a lot,
quite a bit.
Yeah.
So they passed law where everybody had to wear masks. Actually, by law, like you could get fined for not wearing them.
Yeah.
Which has helped. But now we're in like from Boxing Day, we're basically in lockdown again until the 11th because they're trying to bring the infection cases down.
Specifically for your island?
Yeah. There's been no new deaths. Like there haven't been any COVID related deaths in quite some time, but the infection rate is just up again, right? So 9 o'clock on customs, yeah.
Yeah, dude, you have another Mount Orgil castle?
Yeah, so that's not like like an in the sea castle. It's an older castle as well. It wasn't used like it was used like a long time ago, but not like like I think Elizabeth Castle was sort of decommissioned in like the 1500s, 1600s, and they built like an actual fort. It was called Fort Regent, which now has like in the 60s they built like a dome on top of it, and they turned it into like a sports leisure center sort of thing.
I mean, this water castle to me is mind blowing. So if you say someone were to visit this island for a week, would they, if the water was up, would they not get to see it, or is it a daily occurrence where it will
no, if the water is up, you can take like an amphibious. It's like a puddle duck, you know, like the ones they used in the war. It was like a boat with wheels.
Yeah.
So like as it got close to the beach, it could drive up the beach. There's 2 of those in service. So you just go buy some tickets. You sit on this thing. It takes like 5 minutes to get over there, and then so if the tide's up, you get to go on this little boat, and it just drives up a ramp and drops you off, and away you go.
Dude,
it's like, yeah, there's 2. Yeah, just 2. I mean, it's a small place.
You're island living because of one chance moment in IRC chat room.
Yeah, I know. When you put it that way, it's kind of nuts.
That's so crazy.
Nuts, yeah, I know. It is a bit crazy. Yeah. What about you? How did you meet your wife? Did you just meet her at school or something, or like at work?
Dude, okay.
Like the normal way?
if there's no water castle in Elden Ring, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like, to me, I just didn't know that existed. Anyways, so I used to be a high school teacher, and I'll give you the real short of it. And I coached American football. So one day, nice. One of my players, you know, and these are high school kids, 14, 15, 16, came up to me and said, "Hey, my cousin just broke up with her boyfriend. I think you should meet her." And I'm like, "Look, dude, I'm not taking dating advice from a 16-year-old, but thank you." You know, and I'm like 22 at the time, so I'm barely older than this guy. And so we have a game, and then I see this girl walk in, and I'm looking at her, and the player next to me goes, "Hey, that's my cousin." And I'm like, "You gotta hook me up." Like, yeah, that was it. So then I met her. Wait,
was she older than 16 at the time though?
It was his older cousin. Okay. So she was like my age.
I just wanted to check.
Yeah, no. It's his older cousin. So, you know, she's like my age. And then I saw her walk in, and it was like, man, it was like I heard the IRC noise when you got a friend request in.
Nice, yeah.
And then so I spent like the next month trying to like plan strategically how I could meet her without being creepy. You know, like the creepy high school teacher that's like, "Hey, hook me up with your cousin."
Nice.
So, but it was good, you know. And then we went out, and then kind of like the rest is history.
Yeah, and so you guys have been married for 9 years, and you have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And your kids are young, right? Like what, 2 and 4?
Yeah, I have 2 boys, 2 and 4. How old are yours? Are yours 8 and 12?
I've got a daughter who's 5 and a son who's 9. So
okay.
Yeah. So my son is like into, you know, Minecraft and Lego and all the kind of cool stuff, you know. And my daughter's just like into dolls and like just like
nice save there. You're like, my son's into this amazing stuff, and my daughter's into the dolls.
Yeah,
so
just she got this fucking like it's like a doll's head, okay, with shoulders that can like rest on a table, and it comes with makeup, and all you do is put makeup on the doll's head and face. It's fucking weird, man. And so she's put makeup on it, and it looks like a wrestler. Like it's like clown paint. It's I don't know. I guess I was never a little girl, right? So I don't know what kind of things little girls like, but apparently it's that.
So,
It's really
so as a father too, like, I mean, you divide your time up, you know, like playing with them, and clearly, you know, you could play with Minecraft, Lego, or dolls.
Yeah.
Like, how do you audit your play time? Like, do you do that?
Just like you just roll with it sometimes, right? Like it's sort of like there's enough to do around, and then like sometimes like my son has like a couple of days of the week where we let him stay up later because he's a bit older, right? So on nights where he stays up later, you know, like he'll just go on Minecraft, or he'll be like, oh, do you want to play? Like we used to play like I gave him my old computer. I set him up in the garage, so like he's got like a computer that he can play like Minecraft or like Planet Coaster on. So sometimes we just come out here and he just, you know, we play Minecraft together, or he just plays Planet Coaster or whatever. So it's like easier with my son because he's older.
When did you start him on computers? You remember?
He must have been like, he was pretty young because we've always had stuff around because I've always been into games, and like just through work you get given consoles and whatnot and stuff. So stuff's always been around, and he's always sort of like been interested in it. But I'd say he really started probably around 7. Really started actually playing games. But we really limit it.
Wait, how old's
like,
your son?
Not on there that much. 9. So like.
And how old's your daughter?
5.
Okay. I had them inversed in my head. I thought your son was 5 and your daughter was. Okay.
No, yeah.
So he was like 5 years old. You said he got into it.
About 7, I'd say.
7. Okay.
Like he probably played some stuff when he was 5, but like he didn't really know what was going on, sort of thing. 7, it clicked, and he sort of understood how games worked and wanted to play more games. And then he started getting into. He played a lot of Mario Maker, which he really liked. Like, Mario.
I was just gonna say, I like that your natural was Mario, because I just say Mario for memes, but I've never heard someone say it not for. Well, no, you know what? I got a friend. His name's Wolves at my door. He lives in New Jersey. He says Mario. I wonder if it's a Jersey thing.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I mean, I was talking to I did fishing with Ryan last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And we talked about this pasta versus pasta, lava versus lava, Mario versus Mario. So I don't know. I mean, he grew up in Ontario as well. I feel like maybe it's just like a Eastern Canadian thing. Maybe the non-awing of things. I don't know.
I will say I don't really watch any content, but I went out of my way and I watched like 10 minutes of you guys fishing, and it was I just clicked on the conversation where you talked about like streaming on Twitch, and either you're really good at games and I'm paraphrasing this poorly, either really good at games and boring, or entertaining and not good at games. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, I kind of. There obviously there's exceptions.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could probably think of a couple off the top of your head, but I'd say generally, as like a rough rule, that kind of rings true. I don't know. Maybe I don't actually believe it, or.
No, but I mean, I shouldn't say
ways,
boring, but like you're either really entertaining or you being good at a game is entertaining, and the unicorn is the person that can do both. More or less,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know what you think about that.
No, I think like, you know, there's a reason why people will watch someone on the internet, and it's usually one of those two reasons. There's not really a third reason.
I'm not saying that everybody who's good at games is like really boring, because that's, you know, obviously not the case, but like they're probably not as like purely entertaining as somebody who goes out of their way to be that like that, right?
Right.
You know, like somebody who's got like a higher production quality or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I maybe that's a bit too general, but it kind of it feels like that sometimes.
No, well, like to me, like I've always said, you know, there's a few people out there you can think of. You're like, man, this person's really good, and they put on a great show. And I think like you know, without getting into examples, but you know, you can just identify it because it's like, wow, they're playing really impressively, and I'm wildly entertained, and it's just, to me, it's super rare. Because do you watch a lot of content?
It depends like what game I'm into. Like Tarkov, if I'm getting back into it, I will probably watch people play it more. You know what I mean? Because it's the kind of game where like you can kind of pick up tricks from people who are far better at it than you, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But generally no. Like I'm kind of like old-fashioned. I just like watch TV or like watch shows and stuff. Like I'm not massively into like content and stuff. It really just depends on what it is.
Hey, real quick, what quest do you have to do so we can start?
Oh, for this one, I just got to kill scavs and I got to find shotguns. It's like the very first
Okay,
quest, I
okay,
think,
cool.
so.
What do you watch? What do you watch? You watch American shows? You watch UK shows? What do you watch?
A mix of both, like whatever's good. Like I finished watching this German show called Dark recently, which was a bit of a trip, but weird enough for me to like it, sort of thing. I like Twin Peaks, like David Lynch stuff. I like always seek that sort of stuff out. Yeah, it just depends, really. I'm gonna start watching The Expanse, which is like sci-fi, I guess.
Okay. Did you leave the building?
Like stuck on one thing. No, sorry, I went back down the hall. I'm like closer to the roadside of the building that we were in.
Floor 2 or floor 1?
Top floor still.
Okay.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
The hall? Okay.
Okay. So what's one of your, if you're like, hey Dan, this is the best UK show of all time, you have to watch it. Do you have one?
UK shows? I'm trying to think. What's a good UK show that I've seen? I like Ricky Gervais's stuff, which I'm not sure super translates to American audiences. Like the original Office, for example. Mm-hmm. You like the American Office, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
You've been watching it?
Yeah, I just finished it for the first time. Let's go in here, second floor.
Sure. I like the American version, but I preferred the UK version. And it's just a lot more awkward, I guess. I don't know.
The UK version's more awkward?
Yeah, like actually you'll cringe like out of your seat at times. It's so impossible to watch. But I kind of like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Faulty Towers is a good one. Yeah, UK comedies, there's been a couple of good ones, but again, I'm not sure how well a lot of them translate to American audiences, you know? And I've lived here a long time, so I feel like I get the humor a bit more and stuff too. Like I've lived here for 17 years. Like I've spent all my adult life here. Oh shit, I didn't have that key, sorry. That was me making a lot of noise, by the way.
There's a gun in here if you want it. Yeah, I mean, like, my thing is, and I haven't given it a full shot, but like I've never seen, my limited view of UK humor is Monty Python. And I've never watched it. And I generally don't like laugh at that kind of stuff, but I've also never really given it a shot. And I also know that that's kind of like a small sample size. So I'm not really giving it like a full...
A small sample size. It's kind of like classic comedy, but it's so dated. Like I don't think anybody really rates it anymore. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of stuff that's come since that's been way better, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Just trying to think. It's a good question, actually. There's a lot of really good UK stuff, but I'm trying to think of like what would be the sort of like 5-star like enterprise like for UK shows.
Like, is there like a is The Office like the Seinfeld of the UK? Like, is that, because it was only on 2 seasons, right, in the UK?
Seinfeld?
No, Your Office.
Oh, Office. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was two seasons and then a Christmas special. So like, and the seasons were like 6 episodes each. You're like, they're not. You know, like American seasons are like 30 episodes or whatever. So it's like, it's a short show, but, and then I guess you had like Extras. Did you ever watch Extras? Or hear of it? Mm-mm. So it's by the same writing team that made The Office. It was just a story about a guy who's like an extra, like on film sets and stuff. But it had like an episode with like Ben Stiller. There was one with like Robert De Niro. So there's like big actors in it, sort of thing. I think it was on HBO. I'm not sure. Unfold my stock. Why is it folded? Oh, this one. Whoops. Thank you, chat. Sorry. I forgot I had it folded. There was a show over here called Father Ted, which was really funny.
What's the concept?
So the premise, it sounds like garbage, okay? I'll explain it to you briefly, and you'll think, who would ever watch that? And I felt the same way until I actually took the time to watch it. It's about priests who live on this small island in Ireland.
Come on.
Come on. So there's like, yeah, there's like an older priest, a very old priest who's like an alcoholic. a sort of like middle-aged priest who's like sort of the ringleader of all of them, and this young sort of like dim-witted priest, and they have like a housekeeper who, you know, makes them their dinner and serves them tea and stuff like that. And they just live on this really rural, backward island, and the pacing of the show is very like kind of like, it's funny, but it's like meandering at times and stuff as well. It's like there's like some slapstick and stuff, but like if you explain that to somebody that you just think that sounds stupid as hell, right? Like it doesn't not sound appealing. It doesn't sound like it would even be funny, but it's probably one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Honestly, it's
well, that's
like,
high praise.
yeah, yeah. Like as far as UK shows go, like it came out in the 90s, I think. Only Fools and Horses is good, but kind of like classic comedy, and also I don't know if it translates very well to Americans. I don't even know if Father Ted does really. Yeah, it's an odd one. I feel like the British sense of humor is just different to the American one, right? Like,
Yeah, and like when you talk about that, like I have this vision, you know, this idea of British humor, but I want to give it like a fair crack, and I don't feel like I've given that. So you'd say Father Ted is
Father Ted's a good one. But again, like I need more time. Let me put a list together for you. Okay? I'll curate a list of British comedies and then see what you think. Maybe I can convert you. But if you give this stuff a try and you like it, it's worth it. It's like there's definitely some good laughs there. But I mean, I grew up in Canada, so you know, Seinfeld, Simpsons, Friends in heavy syndication. You know, those are all shows I grew up watching. Like, I still love Seinfeld. Like, I'll go back and watch Seinfeld like anytime I see it on or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I'm with you. I feel like and I know this is maybe a hot take. I really like Seinfeld. Like, very, very much enjoyed it. I feel like The Office. Well, and I've never seen the Seinfeld finale, but The Office finale, to me, I don't think I've seen a better finale, like two-parter ever done. Like in terms of like a feel-good way.
Yeah. I need to watch that. I kind of gave up on. I also recently watched The American Office for the first time after kind of dismissing it, thinking it wasn't going to be any good. But I didn't really have a basis for that. I just had this feeling that maybe it wouldn't be that good. And a lot of people were like recommending it, saying, just give it a try. It's actually really funny. The first couple of seasons are really strong or whatever. So I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And then I just binged through it. But I gave up after Michael Scott left. Because I just, you know, like when Steve Carell's guy left at the end of the whatever season it was, I just couldn't get into the next season when Andy took over as the boss. And they had that Johnny California guy or whatever.
Yeah, some of the wind in the sails definitely, you know, it's not cruising as much, but
yeah,
it wraps up rather nicely. You know, I mean,
heard that the ending is pretty good.
Yeah, which is, I think, rare. I think a lot of shows, you know, I'm not saying they outwear their welcome, but sometimes, like, they either try to do too much or it just, it's really, I think it's one of the hardest things to do is wrap a successful show in a way that is satisfying, and I feel like they did a pretty good job of it, you know, especially
one that ran for as long as that too. I mean, that was on TV for a long time, right?
Yeah, super long time.
9 seasons. It's kind of nuts. Holy crap, I can't believe we've done all of Dorms whilst talking about TV and we haven't seen a single person here. It's really weird.
For me, one of the, not struggles, but one of the challenges I often face, and I don't know if you face this, is finding a series that I can watch with my wife, because she doesn't like violent stuff, or, you know, or anything that's like potentially kind of scary.
Hey, so, have you ever heard of the show called Ted Lasso?
I've never heard of it.
Thank you for the donation.
Okay.
I appreciate your acquiescence.
It's on Apple TV Plus. Like, it's like exclusive to that. So you'd have to sign up to watch it, or maybe you have another way of getting it. It's an American show. It's got that Jason Sudeikis in it.
Yeah. He's in Ozarks, right?
Oh no, maybe it's not him then. I'm thinking he's like in Bad Bosses or something.
Oh, okay. I missed
some other stuff I haven't seen.
Jason Sudeikis and Jason Bateman, I think, are sometimes the same person.
Jason Bateman, I think, is the Ozark guy. So I don't like I don't know much about the Jason Sudeikis, but maybe he's like, maybe you've heard of him, sort of thing. But he's an American football coach who gets a job in the UK coaching a Premier League football team, and he doesn't know anything about football. So he comes over with his coaching friend, and he's just sort of dropped into the deep end of coaching like an English football team.
So he
And
knows how to coach
American. You and
He knows how to
coach American football,
but not soccer or traditional football.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about it, and he's like from Kentucky, so he's all like, "Hey, y'all," like like that kind of stuff.
Hey,
He's got
Conan.
all these kind of like isms and stuff, and there's like all this friction with like the English players who think he doesn't know like what he's doing and stuff. But he's like a people manager. It's like, in terms of feel good TV, it's like the best I've ever seen. Man,
Okay.
it's just really good. It's like kind of like just nice and uplifting and at times funny and just really nice little stories and stuff. There's like 10 episodes. It's
Okay.
like half an hour each. I highly recommend it. It's really, really good.
Do you watch with your wife, or you kind of go your own routes when it comes to
No, like I'll watch that with my wife.
Okay.
It's kind of like, it feels like just like a long romantic comedy or something,
Okay.
but not like, it doesn't feel like cheesy or anything overly. You know what I mean? It's just a nice show.
I got you.
So if you're looking for something to watch with your wife, I would say that's a good one.
Yeah, the Office was the big one, and then we haven't. Oh, someone got shot here. And then until I come up with a better suggestion, right now I'm in the middle of watching Selena with my wife on
Selena.
Yeah, it's about a pop star, which it's I would say it's more skews towards my wife's interest, but I'm on board for it. So it's about this following like a pop singer who starts from like a little girl to fandom, and it's based off. I mean, it's like biographical, and apparently
Right.
the singer in the end doesn't make it, and I don't know how that she, like when I say doesn't make it, I mean like somehow dies.
Right.
But and so I don't know, but it's like super common knowledge, I guess, how she died in real life. But I'm just trying to avoid that spoiler until the end of the series.
Right.
So, have you ever heard of Selena?
No, I've never heard
Okay.
of it.
So,
My wife is not like, she doesn't mind like a bit of violence. So like the last thing we watched together before Ted Lasso was we rewatched The Sopranos because we hadn't watched it in years.
Yeah.
Which was really good. Liked it. And actually, we like watch mob stuff. Like we're kind of both like into like mafia mob stuff or whatever. She doesn't really like sci-fi or anything too weird
yeah.
sort of thing.
Hey,
Like,
let's go in the red house real quick.
Sure. She likes sort of like, she studied psychology, so she likes she likes like stuff that has people and people with issues, and it's like Sopranos like kind of perfect for that, isn't it? Like
Yeah. Well, I think like I can get away with like some violence as long as there's a good story, or
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it just like I probably couldn't get my wife to watch Scarface or something like that, or like
Scarface,
a
yeah.
Quentin Tarantino. They're very hard sells.
Some of them,
yeah.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I did.
Yeah. I didn't find that like overly violent or anything.
Oh.
So, like there was that one scene at the end that was just insanely violent, but the rest of it was like all right.
I ended up
Pretty good.
one of I'd probably say the most difficult movie situations I've ever been in before is I ended up seeing Wolf of Wall Street sitting next to my mother-in-law in the theater. I don't know if I've ever felt more awkward at the
That is
cinema.
a bit weird, yeah. Oh, that was a great movie though. I love that.
Yeah, it's like, but part of the time I was like internally cringing because I'm
Yeah.
like sitting next, like not like a couple seats down, like directly.
Oh,
So you get that, you get that one because you need it, right?
where is he? He shot at us. Sounded close.
I think he might be to the right of the barn, but let me see if I can spot him. Are you directly there he is. Okay. So he is on the other side of this truck behind some boxes. You'll see him. He's right
Oh, I see.
right there.
Yeah, I'll
He's behind those crates.
Gonna charge him.
Okay.
he's disappeared.
Also, like I've heard the term. I mean, I don't know, and I never researched it either. But I like drug shows like Narcos and stuff like that.
Oh, Narcos is really good. Yeah, we watched that too. That was a really good one.
Have you seen Narcos Mexico?
No, is it good?
That's to me. I like that even better. It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I might check that out then. I didn't know much about it, so I just didn't bother.
But speaking of Wolf of Wall Street, I still don't know, and I guess I never cared to look up. But I don't know what a quaalude is.
It's like doesn't exist anymore, and I'm not sure what they were used for, but they were very popular to take in like the 80s. But they're
Like a pill, or did you?
Yeah, it's like a pill. Yeah, it's just, and it really fucks you up. It's like apparently it's like a muscle relaxer or something like that.
So it was used in actual medicine that people like abused, or was it just made?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. No, it was like, I think they stopped manufacturing them, and then they kind of got popular to use, but they were expensive or hard to get a hold of, like because they were like a limited supply.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that the name of it, or is that like the nickname of it?
I think the nickname is just Ludes. I think the full name is Quaaludes.
So it would be like, hey, Quaaludes by Pfizer. Like that was like the...
I guess so, yeah. Or maybe that was like part of the nickname. I don't know. We're getting out of here, right?
Yeah, did you get a kill?
No. I did some damage, but
Okay.
I think I looted enough to get XP.
I don't know how we didn't get into trouble at all on that raid.
No, we didn't see anybody. It was nuts. I don't know if that counts as a run through or what.
No, we spent a lot of time there. We should be good.
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes, right? No, it survived, so we should get found in raid for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Sopranos. So you guys are Sopranos. Are you guys watching anything right now?
Right now, well, we're watching Ted Lasso. I have already watched it, but like I've gone back to watch it like with my wife. So
It's
that's
that
what we're
good
watching now. Yeah, no, it's like it's really easy to watch. Like second time through is just like a breeze. It's not boring or anything. It's just a nice show, you know. And it's fun watching with my wife because she hasn't seen it before, so like you get to like see her reaction to things as well.
Yeah.
And because a lot of the story is about an American going over to England for the first time.
It's like you.
There's a lot,
kind of.
a little bit, yeah. So, but there's lots of like, oh, they do things like this here, sort of thing, and it's like, you know, like seeing my wife react to that is kind of funny sometimes because she's like, oh, come on, like, you know, like how do you not know that and stuff. It's like it's pretty funny.
So if I watch that show, then I'll get some insight into what your life is like.
A little bit, yeah, for sure you will, yeah. Because there's definitely like stuff in it that's very, very British. They literally just plagiarized my life. That's what somebody in chat saying. Not quite. I can't coach American football. I think Dan can though.
Yeah,
so you'd probably have a lot in common with that show too.
You have to check it out. I think that the only tough sell is that it's on Apple Plus, but if you're endorsing it, you know, I'll give it a shot.
If you can, it's definitely worth a watch. I think it's been renewed for 3 seasons. The first season did well enough for them to be like, okay, yeah, let's get like 2 more after this. So that's a pretty good sign too. What else have we watched? We watched Sopranos, like I said. Oh, Better Call Saul. We really liked Breaking Bad, so we've been watching Better Call Saul. We're all caught up with that now.
We stalled out a little bit there. It got like a little like hazy. Like it's a little hard to follow at times for me.
Yeah, it's slow, right? It is like Breaking Bad was the same. It wasn't really. It had its moments, but there's slow lead ups to a lot of stuff, right? And Better Call Saul is kind of the same. I don't know. It's I quite like it. I like the whole universe that they've created with Breaking Bad. All the characters, how they link together and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting, but.
Yeah, I think the creators
I get
really
what you
sharp.
mean. I can see people sort of like finding it, you know, slow and burning out on it or whatever.
I like who's the creator? I like he's just I'm into shows where sometimes what you're watching will hint at what's coming without being obvious, just with like camera shots and stuff like that. I really like that kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah, his what's it? Is it Vince something? Vince Gilligan.
Yeah.
Vince Gilligan. Yeah, it's really good. Do you want to do scav or do you want to just go PMC again?
Your call. I think we should. Well, it doesn't matter. Your call.
What's your normal flow? Do you do PMC scav? Like, do you do scav as soon as it's up, sort of thing? Or?
No, I usually just run PM. This wipe, I've just been doing PMC. I've gotten very, very fortunate. I haven't had too many bad deaths, so I've just been kind of running my PMC because the scav XP doesn't count towards your main guy. You know?
Yeah. I'm good to run PMC. I did customs at like 12:30 or whatever. The
Okay,
left
cool.
customs left.